Hi everyone, Materim here with another battle report. This is my second Ninth Age battle report in version 1.2. Tonight I'm going to be going with my Warriors of the Dark Gods versus Michael's Dwarven Hordes in a 4,000 point battle report. This is actually the same force he used in my last battle report against the ogres. This is the same night. We just pulled out another army and decided to go to it. Um, so we actually even left all the terrain the same. So in terms of what you see on the board, it's going to be very, very similar. And again, Michael won first, or no, I won first placement, but I decided not to drop my whole army. But then again, as soon as he got a turn, he dropped the whole thing, so he ended up going first as well. So let's go ahead and go over deployment. All right, so we're starting on my left. Michael has his cannon, or flame cannon, I'm sorry, which is rune crafted. Next to that is his 30 clan warriors with great weapons. They've got full command and this banner of speed. Next to that is his normal flame cannon with no upgrades. Then he's got his unit of 20 Deep Watch with full command and the Stalker's standard. And in that, again, is all of his characters. He has a Dwarven King with the shield and the Hold Stone, with a weapon with the Root of Destruction, Rune of Smashing, and Rune of Quickening, and a talisman with 2 runes of shielding. He has his Thane BSB with a shield and the runic standard of shielding, and a runic smith with a shield and the runes of reckoning, resilience, and oaths. Behind that is his anvil of power with the rune of shattering, rune of cleansing, and rune of resolve. And then a volley gun with the rune crafted upgrade next to the deep watch. Then his last unit is his 30 unit of clan warriors with full command and shields. So I start off on the other side of him. I have a unit of 5 barbarian horsemen with the mark of lust. Then I've got a unit of 15 wasteland warriors with the mark of wrath. They have paired weapons. Then I have a unit of 20 barbarians with the mark of wrath. They have paired weapons as well. With them is my BSB. He has just I believe it's a 5-up ward save, and he's Mark of True Chaos. Next to that is a unit of 15 Wasteland Warriors with the Mark of Change. They have hand weapon and shield. And next to that is a unit of 5 Chaos Hounds. Behind my line, I have a unit of 5 Wasteland Knights with the Mark of Pestilence. They have the 9-tailed standard, so all infantry within 12 inches of them are going to get +1 to movement. So he's basically there to buff those frontline units. And then next to that is my general. He is a sorcerer, master wizard with 4 spells of the lore of shamanism. He is on a disc of change, and he has the talisman of complete shielding, the 4-up ward. So he's like 3-up armor, 4-up ward. Then over here, I have my blood beast, and next to that is a anointed of wrath on a chaos chariot, which I am calling Lord Tremendous. He is upgraded. I don't recall what he's got on him, but he has a 1-up rerollable armor save. I'm calling this one Lord Tremendous because this model is actually a model that was given to me by Lord Tremendous. So I thought it would be appropriate to name it after him, since apparently that's a thing we're all doing now. And I have linked the master of the Blood Beast is Lord Tremendous. So we start off with Dwarven Holds turn 1, and he may have moved a few inches. Michael was very hesitant to come and get me after the last rough time he had in the last game against the ogres. So he wants some turns to shoot. He's going to hold back and get some opportunity to whittle my troops down before I start mixing it up with him. He chooses not to do any magic the first turn because there's really nothing that he wants to do, so he goes straight into shooting. That organ gun draws a line at my Wasteland Warriors of Change and ends up knocking 3 of them off. And that was pretty much it. So I end up running up with the barbarian troops to hide behind the wall. I know I'm probably going to take at least 1 round of shooting, but I want to get over the wall and into that cannon and start eliminating his ability to whittle me down, because I know I have no shooting myself, and I'm going to have to get in there. I also have no magic missiles or damaging spells. All I've got is Savage Fury, Chilling Howl, Break the Spirit, and Awaken the Beast. So it's all buff spells, so I've got no choice but to get up in his face, and to do that I need to start taking out some of that shooting ability. Everything up here I advance. I'm essentially using the dogs as a shield in case he wants to come get me to kind of redirect him. Everything else I'm kind of bringing up as one line. I don't want any of my units to get too far ahead because I don't really know how they'll stack up against these dwarf units. I'm also keeping my caster behind my units so that he doesn't get blown up being all by himself. And then over here, I'm having the Blood Beast and Lord Tremendous keep to themselves. My ideal hope is that he's going to come out to get me with that dwarf unit, and they'll be able to lay into its side and start doing some major damage. So Dwarven Holds turn 2. Just some repositioning in terms of movement phase. He's turned his 2 outer units a little bit so that I'm not going to have a chance to get into flanks, but other than that, no real difference. He ends up doing, I believe this is the magic phase, he ends up hitting my Blood Beast with 1 damage from the rune. It does 2d4 strength, or 2d6 strength 4s, and he ended up getting lucky on that. In shooting, the flame cannon is frankly pretty unlucky, I think, and only takes down 1 of the barbarian horsemen, so I don't have to roll a panic, but even if I did, they're marked lust, so they're immune to it. And his flame cannon here in the center ends up peeling off 1 of my Wrath Wasteland Warriors. And okay, I must have these out of order. So it looks like he did do the 2d6 strength 4 hits to the dogs and blew them up. So it must have been the organ gun doing the damage to the Blood Beast, or maybe it's vice versa. Either way, it doesn't really matter, other than the fact that he destroyed my Chaos Dogs and nobody panicked if they were even in range. So we go into my turn 2. I succeed a charge over the wall into the cannon and don't lose anyone to dangerous terrain, which is awesome. And everything else I advance. So I'm, again, kind of hoping I can hit his whole army like a fist of an angry god, as the case may be. But I don't know, with as close packed as he is, I don't know that that's going to be able to work. So I'm going to kind of see what he does and react to it. So I'm not trying to overcommit much. And over here, I move up just a little bit. I'm in like a long charge position here. I can get it on a 9, I think, in both cases. Something like that. So I'm okay with that. I don't want to give him the opportunity to charge either Lord Tremendous or the Blood Beast, because I really don't want him getting that +1 to wound. I'm more than happy with him, or +1 strength. I'm more than happy having to fight him at 3 strength. So yeah, the barbarians just absolutely bowl over this cannon, which goes to prove that apparently 4 barbarian horsemen are more powerful than the mammoth hunter from the ogres that I had last game. So we kind of laughed about that. His guys don't panic because they're dwarves, and dwarves never panic. So he starts doing magic. because he doesn't move for his turn 3. And he's again just with those bound spells just dominating the magic phase. He throws the -1 to wound in close combat on his center unit, which is the Deep Watch, which is just not what I needed to have happen for me to be able to have a chance at cracking that unit. And then he turns around and blows up my Barbarian Horseman with 2d6 strength 4 magical hits. You can see the 4 to wound rolls right there, and they don't have crap for armor, so they go bye-bye. Then his shooting starts off, and his organ gun, or volley gun, if we're calling it that now, just totally blows up my Wasteland Warriors here. You see I've got 7 left, and I'm really not sure what that team is going to accomplish now without a lot of help. So we go into my turn 3, and I go ahead and charge his Great Weapon Dwarves with my Paired Weapon Wrath Warriors, figuring that the Wrath Warriors will go first. I'll throw out a lot of hits, and I'm just hoping that I overwhelm him and just do so much damage he's not going to break me. It's going to be a big grind there, but I like my chances. A little less popular is my charges from the Barbarians and the Change Warriors. My hope was to essentially get them both in so that when they overrun, because they would have to essentially be maximized to the side, if I could break that unit and overrun, I would catch essentially both siege weapons there. But the Barbarians failed and just slid up a little bit, and the Change Warriors hit, and now I'm like, okay, what is 7 dudes going to do against a pile of Dwarven characters being backed up by the Deep Watch? And I do not have an answer for that question at this point. And then over here, I succeed the charge into these hammer and shield wielders with my Blood Beast. But as you can see, Lord Tremendous fails. He goes forward 4 inches, which on the plus side, he doesn't get into the forest, so I'm not taking dangerous terrain tests yet for a failed charge. I'll just have to take them for the hopefully successful charge next time. And then I just move my wizard a little ways over and move my knights to here to get ready for what I hope is going to be a flank charge, because I'm pretty sure he's going to run down, or he's going to destroy the Change Warriors. If he breaks them and runs, he's most likely going to hit the Barbarians, and then I can slam him into the side with the Knights. It's not a great plan, but it's the best one I've got at this point. So I actually get some magic off. I did 12 dice for the power and just decided to keep going, and I ended up getting on his Deep Watch unit a -1 to hit and Dangerous Terrain 2. And then on my Change Knights, I got Frenzy and +1 Toughness. So I figured they might actually last, and maybe they'll do some damage. So I'm actually feeling a lot better about this after Magic. But I did get a miscast 6 to get that. I think it was the Toughness through at the very end. But I got lucky. I only took 1 wound on my caster. Since I think this is the way it works, if this is wrong, tell me. But the wounds that his unit takes goes to him. Since there is no unit, it's just all on his head. But yeah, so I took 1 wound there, and he's in a precarious position, because if I don't essentially keep him under cover behind these bigger things, that organ gun is going to end my life in a quickness. So we go into combat, and he actually only succeeds in killing 3 of my warriors, and I strip off, I think, almost a whole rank, maybe a little more, from his Deep Watch. I can't touch the characters, so I'm not even trying. I'm just throwing everything into rank and file to thin the unit down. I actually think I win this combat. And stick, or if I do think I won it. Yeah, I think because of the charge. But his guys aren't going anywhere, so who cares? Then over here in this fight, the Blood Beast just whips off a whole back rank of these dudes. Um, Between him having a weapon skill 7 due to Lord Tremendous being his master and the Thunder Stomps, he's putting in some work and not taking any damage for it. But they're stubborn all day long and not going anywhere. Over here, I lose a good 5 warriors and do some damage. Again, I think I win, but he's not going anywhere, which is really going to be a story for most of this game, it seems like. So Dwarven Holds, he's got nothing that can move. He gets a really good magic phase that I can't stop. I think I stop the. He tries to Rune of Cleansing to get rid of the dangerous terrain and -1 to hit spell that I keep on him, but I'm stopping that every turn. But he does succeed in getting rerolls to hit in close combat and a -1 to be wounded in close combat on his Central Deep Watch unit, which is just going to make him hard to kill, which is okay because at this point I'm just relying on my warriors to hold him up while I kill the stuff on the sides, which is the only real plan I have. Uh, he ends up shooting me with the flame cannon. The barbarians take 4 wounds in the back. No big worry there. So then we go into close combat because none of his other shooting does anything. And this is just a bloodbath. I've got him down to less than 2 full ranks, I think. He might be actually at 2 ranks. I can't quite see in this picture. But he's doing damage, and I've got less bodies. So uh, I think I still win this one, but he's stubborn and not going anywhere. One thing I will say, I love the Mark of Wrath ability. +1 to hit anything in your front is awesome. And over here, the Blood Beast does take another wound, but he takes off another half a dozen dwarves. So I'm pretty cool with this. Although it is kind of annoying, he's making like fear checks, and he's missing them by, or he's succeeding them by 1. I'm getting close to the dwarves failing something, but it's just not happening for me. And then my warriors can't hold on. He kills all but one of them. So with everything he has res, I auto break, turn around, run. He chases me, catches the unit, and at the same time slams face first into the barbarians. Which is good because I am set now to come in on the flank charge on my turn with the Knights of Pestilence. So that's the only plus side to that happening at this point. And this is the start of my turn. We forgot that he had the dangerous terrain uh, spell up. So at the start of my turn, we went ahead and rolled for his dangerous terrain. He lost a bunch of dudes, plus all 3 of his characters took a wound from the dangerous terrain. So at this point, that one spell has done more for me than any of my combat blocks. But this just shows what charges I did. The knights came into the corner. Lord Tremendous goes ripping through the forest to slam into the front of the dwarves next to his pet. He does take 1 wound from dangerous terrain getting there. But I'll take that. I just need to put more pain into that unit. Only other movement I do is I move my mage here behind the knights so that he can stay safe from the volley gun. And here's just another picture of Lord Tremendous going into the dwarves. Also during magic phase, you can see that I succeeded in re-upping the -1 to hit and dangerous terrain 2 spell. I may not be a huge fan of magic in general as it stands in 9th edition, but I will be damned if that's not the most useful spell I've come across so far. So I got no shooting, so we go into combat. And unfortunately, he does the same thing to me this game that I did to him in the ogre game, in that as soon as my anointed. As soon as Lord Tremendous goes flying in there, he declares a challenge with his champion. Lord Tremendous has to escape. And on the plus side, there is gooey champion bits wedged under every wheel of that chariot. Downside, I wasted so many impact hits, so many attacks, and just didn't get enough through it. The Blood Beast tears up a few more, but I win, but it's not by enough to break them because they're still stubborn. Over here, we're continuing to grind. He's down. I think we're both down to 4 men in the unit now. So at this point, both of these units are pretty much wasted. It's just going to see who gets lucky and busts the other one. Over here, I declare he throws down his hold stone. I declare a challenge from my champion on the knight unit, which he has to accept. So he runs over there to accept it, which basically means he's with the Nurgle or the Pestilence penalty and the spell penalty. He's hitting on 6s, so he just can't hurt my guys at this point. His unit does a few, like 4 wounds to my barbarians. I do a couple to him, enough so that I just barely win. But of course, he's not going anywhere. I don't have enough to disrupt him, and he's a Dwarf Lord with a reroll in there, so nothing's going wrong there. So we go to Dwarven Holds turn 5. No movement, obviously, but he does dominate his magic phase, so he gets rerolls in close combat and the -1 to wound in that center unit, which pretty much is going to stay all turn or all game, just because that's really what he's got to hold up half my army there. So no shooting of worth. We go into combat. Finally, my knights, or my Wasteland Warriors of Wrath. I hope they come up with god names soon because that's a mouthful. And in general, I'm just ready for fluff because I want it. But let's get a god name soon, people. But they went ahead and killed that unit to a man. And then I did my combat reform, figuring that I could go either into the side of the Deep Watch or into the Flame Cannon, depending upon what I need. Over here, I do some mad murdering. Looks like between Lord Tremendous and his pet, they killed 2 full ranks of dwarves. Unfortunately, he still has 1 full rank left, so he is... Is he still stubborn? I think he's still stubborn. Either that or he might have gotten the stubborn spell off, too. Because he just rocked me in Magic this phase. I think that's what happened. So he got the stubborn spell off and I forgot to mark it. But they're holding and not going anywhere. But he's not doing any damage to those guys at all. And then over here, it's just a fluff fest. He can't kill my champion with his lord. I can't do anything needing 6s to wound. I kill 1 dwarf. He kills 2 barbarians. I think I win by 1 because I've got an extra banner on him or something, or we're tied. It's very, very close, but nobody's going anywhere. It's ultimately the moral of this picture. So we go into Warriors of the Dark Gods turn 5. I've got my Wrath Warriors charging into the cannon, figuring that at least I'll pick up points there, because I'm not sure I'll be able to hurt his center unit since he keeps getting those spells off. I set up so that I can overrun into the Anvil of Doom if I do destroy it. I then maintain, in Magic, I maintain the -1 to hit and Dangerous Terrain 2 on his unit, but I do it by miscasting, and I end up suffering another wound. So at this point, my 720-point Wizard General is a wound away from essentially handing my opponent the game. So I'm real nervous about that. So we go into combat. My warriors just decimate the cannon and succeed their overrun into the Anvil of Power. Over on this side, I kill all but 2 of his dwarves in the unit. He's got basically one dwarf holding Lord Tremendous up and one holding the beast up, and he is still stubborn, and he succeeds his leadership check. So these two gigantic monsters are being held up by two hairy midgets. So then we go to combat in the center. Again, the challenge is going by Fluffworthy. Oh no, I'm sorry. He actually this is the round he finally kills my champion, which is to the point where it's going to make things nervous. He gets lucky. I roll terrible on a armor check, and the champion dies. He also kills two of the barbarians, so we're tied at this point, or he wins by one. Either way, we're doing okay on the leadership. Nobody's going anywhere. So we go to Dwarven Holds turn 6. He doesn't move anything. He gets -1 to wound, and the rerolls in close combat on his unit again, because the dwarves are the best people in Magic ever, which hurts my soul to say that. Over here, apparently the Anvil of Power doesn't want me hurting it. I think I do a couple wounds, but he does a couple back to me. He loses, but he's unbreakable and doesn't go anywhere. Things start going bad here. Now that his Dwarf Lord is freed up, he declares a challenge. My Barbarian Champion steps up, because I don't want my BSB to die horribly. But damage starts happening. The dwarves win on this one. I need 3s. I have a reroll, and I succeed both of them on the reroll, so nobody is going anywhere. Also, in that last picture, you saw that finally the two dwarves died. So, top of my turn 6, Lord Tremendous gets off a Hail Mary charge into the flank of the Anvil of Power, hoping to do what the two remaining warriors can't, and his pet goes into the cannon, or the volley gun, and it is going away. During Magic, I go ahead and risk one more spell, and I do succeed in getting the -1 to hit and -2 to DT, or Dangerous Terrain 2, which is harder than it looked because I rolled double ones on the Flux dice, so I was throwing 2 dice to his 1. But I succeeded, got it off, and I'm hoping that may give me a chance. Yeah, over here, Lord Tremendous crushes face, turns around to pose. And over here, the beast goes likewise, crushes the cannon and their crew, and turns around to say, "What's up?" Then over here, combat goes bad. He ends up going into the unit, destroys the barbarian unit. In the challenge with his Dwarf Lord, I had to accept with my BSB, he only succeeded in doing 1 wound. I lose bad and needed 3 or 4 again. My Knights succeeded it, so they hold his unit up. My BSB fails it and runs to where you see, so he's going to get half points for him fleeing. And that is the end of the game. It comes down to a 1,230 point difference, which is a 14-6 victory for the Warriors of the Dark Gods. It was not expected. To be honest, the 2 leadership 3s on the rerolls should not have happened. I mean, both those units in the center should have died. And if that had happened, he would have had my general blown up, and it came down to those rolls that saved the game for me. So, wrap up thoughts in general. I'm really enjoying playing again. I think the Ninth Age has succeeded in being a spiritual follow-up to 8th edition Warhammer, so I don't really have a whole lot of complaints there. I still think Magic is pretty crazy, though I do say I felt like this this game I did much better in terms of Magic than the last game. Even though I miscast twice this game, I got lucky. Um, but I still think it's really, really weird how easily the dwarves are able to just dominate the magic phase with all the bound spells they have. There has got to be either they've got to power up real spells way more than they are to make them worth their points, or they've got to put some sort of penalty or limitation on the bound spells. Because as it was, Michael never needed to roll more than 3 dice to cast his bound spell, and even if you miscast, like he miscast several times, but if you miscast with a bound spell, unless you're throwing 4 or more dice on it, it doesn't matter. So he could throw whatever dice he needed at it, and I mean he was channeling at a higher number than me, and just it was weird. It was weird to be magically dominated by the dwarves. So I'm hoping they change that up. Supposedly version 1.3 is supposed to be out within the month, so we'll see how that works. But all in all, it was a great game. We really enjoyed getting to throw down. I really like the chariot with Lord Tremendous on the back of it. Having a one-up rerollable armor save on that guy is pretty cool. Uh, I got to watch out for dangerous terrain, though, because he doesn't get any saves for that, because he doesn't have any ward save. And I'm not 100% sure that the 720 point caster on the disc is anywhere close to worth it. But it's fun, and I love that model. I feel like I did a really good job with it, and my wife helped me with the base for him because he kept snapping off the other one, and I think it looks sweet and awesome. So I'm happy with it. We'll just see how it goes in the future. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching this. Again, if you have any rules things we did wrong or recommendations for either myself or my opponent, please leave them in the comments below. I think from this point on, we are going to be trying to play every week. So I'm hoping to have at least one battle report for you guys each week. My hope, once the fluff comes out, which also should be sometime before Christmas, I will be devouring that fluff. Hopefully I'll do a video talking about it. And the boys and I are hoping to get started with a new narrative campaign utilizing the fluff of the Ninth Age sometime early in the year. So hopefully you guys will like that. If you have any thoughts on what armies I should play of my Empire, uh, and Ancient, Warriors of the Dark Gods, or the Ogres, you can leave your words on that. I no longer have demons or uh, undead. I actually sold both of those armies after 8th Crash, so I've only got 4 now. So, again, any advice, any questions or comments, please leave them below. Otherwise, we will catch you next time. Bye-bye, everybody.